welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast, specifically When Calls The Hallmarkies, Heart to Heart. We are here to discuss the long-awaited event of the season 7 premiere of When Calls the Heart. I'm Cami Clements, the Hooked Hearty, and I would just like you to see that I've got all of my Hearty bling going on. And I am joined by two of my favorite co-hosts because we are all the Hearty experts. So, Kaycee, the happy Hearty, say hi.
Hello.
And Caroline, the hopeful Hearty, say hi.
Woo-hoo. Hey.
So I just want to point out that the two of you sound all nice and sunny, and I sound like I have an addiction problem. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going straight for the jugular. Caroline, what's your overall thought of the premiere? Overall.
I thought it was sweet and it just felt like home and it was just magical, as Rosemary said, and it just made you feel better watching it, especially certain scenes with a certain somebody with another certain somebody.
Here we go. We're supposed to never mind. I was about to say we're supposed to just be recapping the facts, but no, that's what news is for. This is a podcast.
Yeah.
What are we saying? All right. Okay, Kaycee, what'd you think?
I thought this was a very peppy episode. It was like coming back home. It was a breath of fresh air. It felt like springtime. It was just, so wonderful. Welcome back to Hope Valley.
Yes.
For me, one thing I've noticed about myself is that I expect the premieres to be huge and gigantic. And, you know, like the premiere of When Hope Calls, there was a fire right there in the first episode. But one thing I forget is this is not a movie. You know, this isn't the Christmas movie. This is an episode. And there needs to be room for growth. And so I've already watched it 3 times.
Impressive.
Yes, I would like everybody to know out there, I didn't watch it until Monday morning. And so at this point, it is Monday when we're recording this, and I've watched it 3 times.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Oh, thank you very much. But anyway, so yeah, I had to, after the first run through, I kind of had to remind myself of that. Just wait a minute, this is not a movie. This is the premiere of an episode, not an entire plot line. So just be patient. And so when I watched it with that attitude the second time through, and I was watching it with my girls the second time through before they left for school.
Aww.
And yeah, that was fun. And so just watching it kind of through their eyes, it made it more special. It made it more magical, and it made me enjoy it more. And I just thought, okay, that's a much better attitude to have, because I was expecting everything to happen at once, but can't do that.
Right.
All right, so let's dive right in, shall we? Okay. So we begin in the very, very beginning with Elizabeth talking about change and the future, which I thought, oh, are we sending a message?
She was very clear in the fact that she is moving on, and not in a disrespectful way to Jack's memory, but just kind of a reminder for the audience that, you know, some time has passed at this point. A lot of time has passed.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if baby Jack is, let's say he's 18 months, because this is, we're guessing springtime, and he's just celebrated his first birthday. That's 18
like
months
that.
plus 9 months since Jack passed away. So it's been over 2 years.
Yeah.
And in that time period, that's a long time to be a widow.
Very.
So I thought it was a very good reminder for everybody that, you know, it seems short in real lifetime because it has been short for us as viewers, but in the Hope Valley world, it's been kind of a while. And I thought it was nice just reminding everybody where everybody was at. Like they reminded us about, Clara and Jesse and Rosemary, wanting a child and everything. So I thought that was pretty good.
I like the fact that it was like, I love that her voiceovers, like her writing in her journal. I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah, I thought that it was really amazing that she talked about the past and change, and sometimes change comes too fast and sometimes change doesn't come fast enough for us. And I thought it was really cute showing Nathan measuring Allie, so kind of giving the impression that Allie's frustrated that she's not growing tall enough, fast enough. Yeah, very cute. And then when she talked about the future and we're excited for what lies ahead, it showed Jesse and Clara. Obviously, they're very excited for their wedding. And then when it talked about worry, it showed Rosemary looking through a magazine again. That woman needs to start doing something else besides looking through a magazine, because she's constantly seeing pictures of mothers in magazines. So she needs to just stop looking at magazines.
And her best friend's a mother, so that's hard too.
Yeah.
I could get that because I don't have a child, but I'm not married. It's still hard to see like your friends have children and like married and stuff, but you're still like not having a family and stuff. So I get that, but not the same aspect. But still,
no, it's but it's completely the same kind of feeling. Absolutely. And and then like we just talked about, that she's ready to embrace change. Kind of wanted to go ding ding ding. Listen up, parties. Even she's ready to embrace change. So let's move on. All right, and then we have my dream scene, because I don't know if either of you are on the well, Caroline, I know you are, but the When Calls the Heart fan Facebook page, it said, who would you like to have in the first scene? And I said, I want Elizabeth, Nathan, and Lucas in a scene all together. I think that would be the most hysterical way to start out the season. And it wasn't the first scene, but it was pretty darn
It was pretty close.
It was close.
I mean, it was pretty, shall we say, great?
Great.
4 times over.
That was so funny, and their facial expressions made it even better. Like I was dying laughing because I love awkward scenes. Like it gives me joy, and it just made me laugh. Just because poor Elizabeth was just like looking around, like, okay, gotta go deal with those boys, and they were looking like, okay, peace out. Like,
and then when she asked, are we behaving like little gentlemen? And then the two guys look at each other.
Yeah.
No.
That was cute.
Oh my gosh. That's when I really started laughing. I do have to say, that was Nathan's conversation. And then Lucas had to come in and butt in and say, well, that's because you never had a teacher like Elizabeth. I was like, okay, come on, give the poor guy a break.
He was coming to tell her about the books he was getting. Okay.
Yeah, just keep telling yourself that.
I am.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You gotta be confident in your reasons, Cammie, okay? Confidence.
Listen, I just thought that scene was great. So
it was funny.
Man. And one thing that I really love, I used to call it her Rosemary smile, because it was the smile that she had when she was dealing with Rosemary. But Elizabeth did this kind of frontal with her teeth when she heard the boys. And part of the reason, I think, is because she had to deal with the boys, but then, also she's like, oh, I'm in a very, very uncomfortable situation right here. I'm dealing with it. It's her dealing smile.
Yeah.
She's in a pickle. Smile. She's in a pickle.
Yeah. So, and by the way, just jumping forward really fast, I thought that the little scene between Nathan and Elizabeth, when she said, "I'm sorry that we were interrupted mid-conversation." And he said, "Oh, that's all right. Lucas wanted to show you his books." And she said,
Talk about the
I
boys.
meant the quarrel with the boys. Oh, right.
That was good too.
Poor Nathan.
Yeah, poor Nathan.
I feel so bad for poor Nathan.
Bless
He
his
really
heart.
does not know how to talk to women.
Bless his heart. In the not so good Southern way.
Hey!
Sorry, I'm kidding.
Whoa. You know,
Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Like the
I thought you said
the
that
lines
you
are
would
very
be
divided
okay.
right now.
I'm just joking around, okay?
Mm.
All right, let's move on to the anniversary lovebirds, Lee and Rosemary. All right, best thing by far, the bathing suits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I literally laughed out loud
Me
and had
too.
to rewatch it like 3 times because I couldn't like stop from laughing, and I couldn't hear anything else because I was laughing so hard. And I was also watching it on my phone in the kitchen because I was like, doing dishes and just trying to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. And like my family's just watching me laugh like an idiot at my phone because of this
Daddy,
scene.
what's
It was
wrong
so
with
funny.
Mama?
Right? What's so funny?
It's because it's like, was that Kevin's reaction to Pascal, or was that Lee and Rosemary? You know, because I just love trying to guess if those were like their interjections or like the writers' interjections for their like facial expressions and stuff. But it was so funny. Like I died laughing. Like when
It's
he
hard to
looked
tell
like
the difference between the two. It really is.
I think that was the Kevin reaction.
that's what I think.
That
It was
was
definitely Kevin.
totally a Kevin reaction.
It could be
So
a Lee
funny.
reaction too, though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's abrupt. Lee is very abrupt.
Yes.
When he, especially with
With Rosemary.
surprises and businesses and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was pure raw reaction, which was good. It was just gold. Ah!
because hers was so beautiful,
Yeah.
and like elegant, and then flip the page and look like a prison outfit.
Yeah.
Like, so
I thought it was so sweet when she was showing like her bathing suit and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty." Like it was such a genuine, sweet, perfect husband reaction, which is why I also think his reaction to his like convict bathing suit was even better because, he just so like pleased with his wife and what she came up with, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Wah!"
So good job, Kevin.
And then that's what brought him back. But you get to be seen next to me in this. Good point.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Lee.
Maybe we can make the stripes blue and white instead of black and white, Rosemary.
Yeah.
Or plaid. Let's make them plaid and white.
Can you imagine?
A plaid and white striped bathing.
Yes.
Costume department, are you listening?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Okay. All right. Now, the changed intro.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved it too, but there's some very telling stuff in there.
Ooh.
So
I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention to who was first on the Lucas or Nathan picture. Who was first?
Okay. Kaycee, did you have any particular feelings on the intro?
So I thought the intro was beautifully done. It was so vibrant. Everybody's faces were pretty, and I don't know, it was so different this time around. But the one thing I noticed was Carson was without faith, and he was at the stage. He was looking. He would have been looking at the stage with everybody behind him, and he had a very worried look. And I was kind of like, seriously, Hallmark, don't show us this. Show us a picture of him in the infirmary or something like that's not going to stir the pot or anything.
Of course, they had to stir the pot.
Yeah,
it's going to stir the pot no matter what, because last season, the two of them together
Yes.
was the shot. So the fact that they showed him alone without her,
yes,
that's the first thing I noticed. I went, oh my gosh, Andrea's not in the intro.
I did know. I did say, Andrea, like, where was Andrea? But and then I also noticed that Lee, Cavan was at like a couple of people after Pascal.
Yeah, he was closer to the end.
Yeah.
But I think how they're ranked, I think it's Aaron,
Pascal.
Jack Wagner, Pascal,
no.
or Pascal and Jack Wagner.
First.
Oh, Pascal, and then
second.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it was Pascal first.
So I kind of wonder if that's the
how
reasoning why. I don't. I mean, that didn't strike me nearly as odd. Just the fact that Faith was not shown in the opening credits at all.
That's what struck me.
And Fiona wasn't either. I was shocked.
No, but she wasn't in the last one either.
I don't think so.
But she's on the poster, so I thought she and Andrea would both be on the opening credits because they were listed on the poster for the season.
Good point.
Their names are, I looked at the credits and their names are one right after the other. I think Andrea's was first and then Kayla, but they are one right after the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just very, very interesting. And I'm seriously wondering, after watching the whole Faith and Carson story this time around, what's gonna happen? You know,
we know she's gonna have to leave at some point because Andrea had her baby. So
right,
how they write it is gonna be fun to see.
Yeah.
And my husband said something really interesting. He said, "You know, what I would do if I were Hallmark," and I just went, "Okay, darling, what would you do?" He has to have his say, even though he does not like the show at all. He said, "I would switch up which guy comes last, because the last one on the screen is the most prominent. It's the one you're going to remember. So they just showed Nathan last. So if I were Hallmark, I would show Lucas last on the next episode just to keep people guessing." Okay, that's great. but when I thought about it, I said, okay, yeah, that's actually a good point. That would be interesting for them to do, to have the guys switching places with the spot to just keep us guessing. But yeah.
So Lucas was first. Lucas was first on the picture thing.
Yeah, and he's always been first. He's always been first. It's been Lucas and then Nathan. So
I just love the music, and it just makes me happy. I wasn't paying attention to the pictures, but I did. I love the music.
I really do love what they did with the new theme song. It's a perfect blend of what it used to be, and then infused with new themes. It's great. I thought
it's perfect for moving on from the Jack and Elizabeth story, the old intro, because you associated that with, Jack and Elizabeth. So it's nice to have something new when you're listening to it.
But on the other hand, you still want it to be familiar. So I think they did that great. All right, let's move on from the intro, shall we? We're going to spend the whole time on the intro if we're not careful.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. They're the good folks over at HelloFresh. And right now you can, if you go to HelloFresh.com/Hallmarkies10, use code Hallmarkies10, you can get 10 free meals, including free shipping. It's a great deal. They're America's #1 meal kit, and they provide 22 plus seasonal chef curated recipes each week that you can choose from. So it's a really great service, and it really helps you get out of your dinner rut. If you kind of get tired of making the same recipes, but you need some ideas, that it's a really good way to do that. And they have different themes. You can get low calorie, vegetarian, family friendly recipes. And so that's great. Also saves you time. You don't have to go to the grocery store. You don't have to spend the time planning and getting everything ready. And one thing's nice as a single person that I like about the service is I get just enough I need for a particular recipe. So I don't have tons of big bottles of sauce that I, only need for one recipe, or spices that I only need for one recipe. So I think that is really nice. The packaging HelloFresh uses to ship The food is almost entirely made from recyclable and already recycled content. The carbon footprint is 25% lower than store-bought grocery-made meals, and it's flexible. You can add lunches to the order. You can get garlic bread, cookie dough, other things that you can add, which is really nice. You can change delivery days. You can make it work for your schedule, which is great. And so definitely check out HelloFresh. I think it'll really be a great thing for your family, or even if you're single like me, you'll really enjoy it. So go to hellofresh.com/Hallmarkies10. Use code Hallmarkies10 for 10 free meals, including free shipping.
So, Lucas's mother was an editor.
That makes a whole lot of sense as to why he's so
Into the library?
into the library, cultured, eloquently spoken.
He is very eloquent.
You
He is
know,
very eloquent. Yeah.
that made a whole lot of sense, because last season I was thinking, oh, he's just a saloon owner. He just, did bad stuff. I don't really know. He's hiding money in a secret and blah, blah, blah. But as we got to know Lucas, I did notice a little more and more, and like, especially when he was like into the whole library thing, like, okay, he's actually a very smart guy.
Oh,
but why?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a tribute to his mother.
I wonder if she'll come to Hope Valley during the season, with the like, oh, your book was published for Elizabeth, because he sent it in to her or something like that, maybe.
He didn't send it to her. He
No, I'm
offered
saying
to
like,
read it.
I'm saying like,
Oh, you think it might happen?
Yeah, in the future.
So, judging by the interview that I did with Chris McNally, it does not sound like that's going to happen, but that would be an awesome idea for future seasons. Absolutely.
Brian and company, listen.
Yeah. Papa Hardy, we have an idea. Okay. So, Caroline, what did you think of Lucas's mom being the editor as our token Team Lucas member?
I loved it. I loved it. It was cute, and it gave something common for Elizabeth and Lucas about love of books, and I just thought it was cute. And I love that that's how he loves to read, because of his mom. And so I thought that was sweet. And her talking about the books when she was growing up, wanting to be a writer and a teacher, I thought that was sweet too. All around sweet.
Sweet. I will say that is the most, this episode was the most unguarded I have ever seen Lucas. He was open. He was wide-eyed. I have never seen him this unguarded in any of the episodes that we've seen him in. And that was a huge change, and it made me like him better.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to put out there that I wrote, he was very genuine in my notes. That's what I wrote down. I said genuine offer. Like, I did not feel any of the, oh, but why sneaky suspicion that I did last season, like the library. Well, why are you doing this, for your own gain? What's the benefit to you? Yeah. Whereas this one, with him offering to read Elizabeth's book, I felt he was very genuine. Like, he was absolutely curious, like, what had she written? And, with his love of books and with his mom being an editor, I think he really wanted to just help her out. I don't think there was any,
interior motives
tied to it. No motives.
I thought it was sweet when she handed him the book, like, about him talking about the illustrations, and she said it was Jack, and it was like that was sweet how he responded to that. Like, it was just so cute.
Yeah. And I felt he was very respectful to her in that moment when she was like, oh, those are done by my late husband. Like, just the look on his face made, like, he was like, okay, this is a very special book. Like, I can't lose this. I can't,
make
say anything
light of it.
Yeah, I can't say anything disparaging about it. Like, I have to guard this.
And
book.
and Elizabeth wanting to share it like with him in that way, I thought that was like very moving to like she's showing a part of Jack to her, like, you know, her memory with Jack to him. I thought that was sweet. And
go ahead, finish up.
I just loved, like, she was vulnerable in that sense. So I felt that was very moving.
That was what I noticed the most about that scene. Erin played that so well. Her reluctance to let this part of her life, you know, Jack gave her that book. Jack was her quote unquote first publisher. He drew all the illustrations. There was that, heart melting moment when he gave it to her. It just, you know, that, and then for her to just be so reluctant, I'll think about it, you know, because she was gonna say no. You could tell that she was gonna say no. I appreciate it, but I'll think about it. You know, so it just shows that she really is truly trying to forge ahead and move on, but she's still reluctant because she's obviously very protective of the memory of Jack. And then Kaycee, like you said, all of Lucas's gestures have been grand. All of them have been big, and they've benefited the entire town. So you could almost say that they've been for the whole town. This is the first time that he did something just for her. And that scores him some major points. If you've been following along with my blog, I've been keeping a tally of points between the two men with their interactions with Elizabeth. And as of the Christmas movie, Lucas won. It was a 2-point difference. It was a 2-point difference, but Lucas did pull ahead. And I said, oh my gosh, how could that be? Because Nathan was featured much more in the Christmas episode. I said, well, that's because Nathan was featured much more, so it gave him more time to mess up. You know? But that scores some major points for Lucas in my book, because it's the first time that he has done anything that was just for her. It was completely geared at her. It wasn't for show. It wasn't to be grand for the whole town or for anything like that. It was only for her.
And I think he handled the critique very well. And I
thought he was going to completely cut it down.
Me too.
When I heard the synopsis, I thought he was going to completely cut it down, and she kind of takes the book and goes crying to Nathan, but he didn't. He didn't.
No, and I mean, there are going to be varying opinions of this, I'm sure. And I'm sure people are going to, you know, be like, Elizabeth should have, I don't know, sucked it up and dealt with this criticism. Like, all criticism's not bad or whatever. I personally, I mean, if you are a creator of anything, if you're a writer, a blogger, a podcaster, a maker of, you know, items or whatever, anytime that you're putting your work out there for anybody to critique, any form of criticism is so hard to take, even if it's put within the best intentions. And, you know, I think Elizabeth did handle it well. She didn't like go off crying. She didn't like throw her book away. You know, she didn't do any of those things that
she didn't get mad at him.
She didn't get mad at him. No, she was just a little hurt. But I mean, anybody would be hurt because she was literally handing off her baby for someone to critique. And that is the hardest thing to do. I'm just vouching for Elizabeth because I have been there, and it's hard. It's hard. Your feelings are hurt, and then it's what you do with the criticism afterward or critique afterward. And Elizabeth handled it well. She was like, you know what? I'm moving forward. I'm gonna write a novel.
I love when she talked to Lucas about writing the novel, how he was like apologizing, and then she was saying like, no, you were right. He's like, what?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
That was so cute. Like their facial expressions, like he's like, what? Like, what'd you say?
That was one of the scenes where I thought he was the most open and genuine and completely let his guard down. He immediately started apologizing. You know, he saw her, Elizabeth, I'm sorry.
And I think in that moment too, it wasn't like he was apologizing because for the sake of apologizing. I think he genuinely felt bad because he knew how much that book meant to Elizabeth.
Oh,
And the fact that it was
yeah.
like, illustrations by her husband, and it was obviously a story of her and Jack. I mean, I don't blame him for apologizing. I don't think it's like taking away his main card or anything. I think he was genuinely.
Did I
No.
imply that?
No,
Okay,
no,
good.
no. I'm just saying for anybody else who may have other, opinions. I mean, that's just my general opinion. I don't think there was any malice or anything with that. I think he genuinely felt bad for critiquing her baby, which is her book.
And I love that when like she was writing and stuff, it was like about a single mother and stuff. And like, cause Nathan asked her like, what's on your heart? And then she looked down at like little Jack. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be.
I'm sorry, who asked her that? What?
He asked her what's on her heart about writing.
Who did? Who?
That Mountie.
That Mountie. Mountie
Nathan.
So funny.
But I thought that was cute. Like she looked down at him, and then we see the title of her book, and it's about a single mom, and so we know it's going to be about her and little Jack, moving forward. So I thought that was cute.
Well, and it's what is in her heart now. She took the words from both men. Because Lucas said the best writing comes straight from the heart. Nathan asked her, what's in your heart? I loved that scene where he thought that she was just standing out there by herself.
Yeah, and then little Jack. Yeah.
And then he sees little Jack and, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were busy. And then, what are you reading? And you could tell that she just got petrified right there. And then, Elizabeth Thatcher, that's you, isn't it? It's really interesting seeing everything come full circle, because we know that she used to be Elizabeth Thatcher, but he doesn't necessarily know that. And it was just, and then like, deeper, well, what's that supposed to mean? He kind of takes the simple man's view, and because it's not everybody that's going to be reading this book is going to be well educated and the son of an editor like Lucas. And so she just took the best from both of them and forged ahead. And I really like that she's putting the stories away, because like you said, Caroline, that's the story of her and Jack. And she doesn't want to touch it. She doesn't want to improve
and I love that.
She's forging ahead, and she's writing a new novel. When she said, I'm writing a novel, my girl said, just like you're writing a novel. I said, that's right, just like mommy.
And I love
I'm working on a novel of my own right now. So
it's cool.
It was very heartfelt for me, because Elizabeth and I are in the same boat now.
Yeah.
And I love at the end of that scene with Nathan and stuff, like she bent down to little Jack and said, you see the horsey? See the horsey? I'm like, oh, I hope he likes horsies too. And it was just cute. It's a point for Nathan riding the horse, okay?
I'm sorry, what?
Point for Nathan.
I'm sorry. I won't do this all the time. I'm having a fun.
So I thought it was a cute scene with Nathan. I give him that.
Okay.
I audibly gasped that part, just because when little Jack looks up and he like gives this really big grin at, I think he was smiling at Mountie Nate, and the horse, but mostly Mountie Nate. And he was just, that interaction was just so cute. And I was like, I can see Mountie Nate being a father to little Jack. We don't have to get into that right now because, we're on a time limit, but
and it's the first episode.
And it is the first episode. But that just made me, I was like, oh, like that was just my reaction. And then when he said, well, what's in your heart? I was like, again,
oh snap,
asking for air, like, oh my goodness, what is about to happen right here? Obviously not much, because again, first episode, but I don't know. And I've said this before, I'm team Mountie Nate for now, but I think it's because I personally have a crush on Kevin McGarry and a Red Surge, so I'm trying my best to be unbiased, just saying. But
and I have a crush on Chris McNally as a saloon owner, so we're good.
Oh my word, you two. I can't take you two
The
anywhere.
beard, okay? If Kevin comes back with the beard as Nathan, I might be more willing to go Team
No,
Nathan.
no. You can't give a Mountie a beard. No, bad.
And he's recovering from an injury and he doesn't have to shave. And there you go.
Oh dear. All right.
All right. Speaking of audibly gasping with a Nathan scene, I audibly gasped when they're on the boardwalk. And oh
yeah.
my gosh, I thought that was huge when she comes to talk to him, and she says, Allie is very happy that you've chosen to stay in Hope Valley, and so am I.
Yeah,
Oh. and then she says, Cat got your tongue, and he says, or maybe my better judgment.
I did that too. I'm like,
I totally gasped right
tell me
there.
more, Nathan. Tell me more. Speak.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what is that? What just happened here?
Yeah.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nathan stirring the pot. My gosh.
I do love watching like Elizabeth Aaron's facial expression when he was trying, like she was like waiting for him to speak. I thought that was funny too. Like, finish your thoughts, dude. Like, come on.
And then the fact that she says to him, you let me know when you figure it
That
out.
was so funny.
And then he pulls the same thing on her when they're out there by the pond. You let me know when you figure it out. You can see the look on her face. Okay, you got me.
That was cute. Go Nathan and Elizabeth.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Bill. the name's
Quoted.
Avery. Bill Avery.
That's ABERY.
And then, hey Bill, why the suit?
That was so funny.
From time to time. No, you don't.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Am I quoted still? Like, Bill.
Kaycee, what about you?
With Bill, no, I thought my LOL laugh out loud moment was when he saw that the article was no longer about Henry Gowan, but was about Fiona, and he was like, am I still quoted in there?
That was so funny. That
would
was
make
good.
me laugh out loud. I with the whole Bill and Gowan and the reporter story, I found it very interesting that everybody they did not go into Henry Gowan's past, and I think that was a great
no one
sign.
threw him under the bus.
I love that.
No one.
And I think that's a great sign again of going back to what Elizabeth said about change. You know, people are moving forward. And I appreciated the scene at the end with Gowan and Elizabeth when she said, you know, protecting our own, and that includes you. I thought that was really sweet. And just seeing Gowan, just seeing him smile.
A genuine smile.
A genuine smile.
Yeah. I thought that was
like, it was almost kind of like that smirky smile, like, yeah. But it was like grumpy old man, smirky, happy smile.
And they both had genuine.
He was totally okay.
Yeah.
With the fact that Fiona, he was surprised, but he didn't want his personal life and his dirty past being splashed all over the page. And yeah, he wasn't featured anymore, but I think he was almost relieved.
I think he was okay with it once he realized what the reporter was asking and what she was kind of looking for. He definitely seemed relieved that it wasn't about him.
I was surprised that Bill didn't like try to make a smart remark about Gowan. So I was like, way to go, Bill! Like, you're moving on. Like, that was good. Like,
you're maturing.
Yeah. I thought that was good.
Okay.
Can we talk about Faith and Carson?
I just gonna say it. Team Infirmary. We've got a declaration, people. We have got a declaration.
And I love you. I was like, whoa, we are we are dropping the I love yous here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drop the bag.
Yeah.
Drop the doctor's bag.
Can I just say real quick before we dive into that relationship, how the filming of Andrea Brooks is pretty brilliant in there.
Yes.
Because
they did a great job.
They did
of
a great
her.
job. Like, and Paul, I think he said in a Facebook Live, like, it's amazing to see like Andrea's face up close, and then the the pan out scenes of her body double, because I guess she was
Right.
very pregnant during that time.
Mhm.
I almost forgot. I mean, obviously, I know it's not her, but it still doesn't faze me. It's not like that obvious. Like if
Mhm.
Right.
if you're a new viewer,
You wouldn't have.
you
Yeah.
really would not know.
I'm
Like if you didn't know she was pregnant.
I'm having my my hearty party tonight, and there are a couple of people who are new viewers who I'm hoping are going to come, and I am purposefully not going to say anything
About her
and
being
see if they
pregnant, yeah.
and see if they notice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, wow.
I love
We've
that.
got. Go ahead, Caroline.
I love that, like, Carson, after Faith told him about, like, getting the head nurse job and stuff, like, or the offer, how, like, he was looking kind of, like, sad at the poker game and stuff, and all the guys knew what was going on. I'm like,
Yeah.
What's going on, Carson?
that was so cute. Even Henry was like, come on, dude, tell us what's going on. Like, it was cute. I love God.
By the way, I want to throw in really fast, Henry. When he's walking with Lucas and Elizabeth comes up on them, hi, I just need to.
Gotta go. Yeah.
What'd you do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it to Henry to
so
tell it
funny.
like it is.
Yeah. Back to the card game. I thought it was funny that when Lucas said the look that you give when you have a bad hand or something like that, Henry in the background's like, seriously, dude?
Why did you tell him that?
Why did you say that out loud? That made me laugh.
That was so funny. I died laughing when I saw that, because it's such a little thing and it can be bowled over and missed very easily.
Oh, yeah.
But if you catch it, it's golden. It is it's screen gold. And
It was such a, you had to watch it, like you had to be watching for it almost,
Yeah, Yeah, it's, oh man, that made me die laughing. So Carson's got himself in a bit of a pickle. The whole surprise scene was very cute. That she's sitting at the phone when he turns around and they run to each other. I thought the run was a little bit awkward, I'll admit. It was a little like, okay, sure. But I thought it was very sweet how she surprised him, and that the surprise actually worked this time, as opposed to Christmas.
Right.
And then Carson has a new talent that none of us knew about. Carson can play the piano.
Had no idea.
Way to go, Carson.
Yeah, we knew that he could play the harmonica, but he is multi-instrumental apparently.
Yes. And now that's when we ask when the musical Hope Valley show is going to happen with all of these
musical episodes.
Because Rosemary sang in the episode too. So
that was cute.
I'm like, come on now. Y'all are just teasing us now.
So Carson has said, I love you, and he's also said go. So that's, that, I can't imagine what Faith, the character of Faith, must be going through right now. She's got to, because he said, I want you to make the right decision for your life, but I want to be in it. I want you to take the job. He's telling her a lot of things, and she's feeling a lot of things, you can tell. So this is going to be interesting, because we've never had an I love you in the first episode. So this is gonna this is starting it out with a bang in that sense. So we'll just have to, I don't know what else to say, just that we're gonna have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. They kind of left us hanging on that one. So we shall see. We shall see what pans out for Team Infirmity.
And speaking of C, let's talk about the silent movie. So first of all, when Rosemary is told the news by Lee that they can't go to Los Angeles yet, that they have to postpone. I loved Pascal's reaction. Rosemary was horribly disappointed.
Mhm.
She had been looking forward to this trip. She was getting ready because nothing is more stressful than getting ready for a relaxing vacation, right?
Yes.
True
she had
words.
been-
Never been spoken.
Right, but she had been looking forward to it. She had been planning it. She was all set to go. And then he comes in and says he can only meet with me next week. And her face just falls. And then he says,
Mhm.
but you know what? Life is too short. We're going to go anyway. The old Rosemary would have said, "Ah, wonderful, let's go." But
Yeah.
she's not the old Rosemary anymore.
Mhm.
She said, no, it's important to you, which means it's important to me. And that, I think, she has come a very long way.
Yes.
Because, I mean, remember the spat that the two of them had when she stayed at Elizabeth's house? Well, Elizabeth, you can be a
That was-
giant pain in the side.
I use that all the time.
Yeah.
Right, but back then, Rosemary was not willing to bend. And now she is putting her husband first before
Yes.
her own desires. Married life, Hope Valley,
Mhm.
being baby Jack's guardian, whatever, what have you, has changed her for the better, and she has been doing wonderfully.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rosemary has really changed and she's done a marvelous job.
Yes, I completely agree. But one thing that I noticed is she goes down the stairs, she's startled, she sees Lee, and they make an eye contact and she already knew what was happening.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing that I noticed is
I
like,
love that.
she didn't have to say anything. She immediately knew that they weren't going to be going to Los Angeles.
Oh, you're home early. And then she's like, oh, like you're home early. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's the one thing that I noticed. And I was like, I love the fact that their relationship is just that strong that they don't even have to say anything. They just kind of like have each other, like they look at each other and then they immediately know. Like, and and like Cammie said, I completely love how Rosemary has grown in this manner and that she is putting Lee first. And that's what a marriage should be about, is supporting each other.
And I love when like Lee was trying to get Rosemary to go to the saloon and stuff. Like he said, "Oh, we're having a dinner," and he's like, I don't want Lucas to realize that like you told this like the surprise, and then but she was surprised anyway. I'm like, "Oh, Lee."
Yeah,
like,
I could act surprised.
Yeah,
maybe I'll tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. husband of the year goes to Lee Coulter.
Oh my word!
I know.
Just for him to bring the first motion picture, that was a Lucas gesture. Go Lee,
Yeah. Yes, I love Rosemary and Lee. They're my favorite.
They really are so cute.
They're just so sweet. I hope good things happen for them in this season.
Me too. And I can't imagine When Calls the Heart without like Pascal and Captain as Lee and Rosemary. I don't think it would have been as like magical if it wasn't anybody but them.
I agree. And Hallmark, if you're listening, Pascal Hutton did say at the Facebook Live that she wants to see Rosemary pregnant. So we do too. We don't need to see her going through like the first 3 months because that's boring. We want to see her at 9 months pregnant and she's
in
just
the summer.
Like in the summer and she's all dramatic about it. And she's like basically actress Rosemary on steroids. I think that would be so funny. So hysterical, seeing poor Lee trying to find like he's going to Benson Hills to get some ice chips for her because that's what she needs at that moment.
Having her try to sing and having absolutely no breath because I've been pregnant 4 times and that was my problem every single time because I'm a singer. I'm an actress and a singer, and I would be sitting there in church and I couldn't even get out a hymn. I was like, oh, I can't sing. So I can only imagine what Rosemary would react to not being able to sing.
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
funny.
anyway, moving on from Rosemary being pregnant to the silent picture. That was magical. That,
Yes.
just like Rosemary said with her sunglasses, a little bit of magic. It was so sweet. And I loved how pure the reactions were from the whole crowd, even the kids, because I have to say, for child actors to pretend that they've never seen a movie before, that's got, I mean, yeah, we have some very talented child actors, but that's got to be very, very difficult to comprehend and a very hard concept to grasp. But their faces were just as enthralled as the adults' faces. In particular, I loved Ned and Clara.
Yeah, that was cute.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
they were so cute. And Molly.
Yeah.
I loved Molly's face too. So yes, we now have Hope Valley's very first silent picture, and Lucas is gonna bring it once a month. Yay!
Go Lucas.
Okay, so final topic: Jesse and Clara planning their wedding.
Okay, so can I jump in here and just say one thing that I noticed?
Go for
Okay,
it.
I have two questions. First question is, why is Clara showing Jesse wedding dresses?
Right?
I said the same thing. Why are you showing him? No.
Like, are you trying to get an idea of what he's gonna look like? What's going on here? And then my second thing that I noticed is that she said she wanted an outdoor wedding. My question is, for the audience, is this a foreshadowing that something's gonna happen? Because we always know something happens during somebody's wedding, because that's happened before. So we had the flood with Rosemary and Lee's wedding. We had the fire at the church for Jack and Elizabeth's. I'm just kind of wondering, are we going to have some very terrible weather that it gets rained out or something? That's just
not, because then it'll be hard to invite the whole town.
I mean, the whole town of 50 people, they could fit in the church and the saloon. No, I'm just kidding. But I was just kind of like, she's purposely said outdoor wedding. Is this foreshadowing?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
And then, of course, we have the man planning the wedding. But I don't know anything about this stuff, but you'll look beautiful even if you're in a potato sack.
That's lace. That's lace. So he kept saying, that's lace. I'm like, oh, Jesse.
But I'm excited. I'm excited for them to be planning their wedding and to be excited about it and to just see how far they've come and where they're going. I'm really, really excited that that's going to be the big event for this season. So, all right, everybody. Well, that is the first Heart to Heart When Calls the Hallmarkies for season 7.
Yay!
Wow,
Yay.
that was quite the episode. So if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up because that always helps. You can follow us on social media, all over social media with the Hallmarkies podcast. And Caroline, where can people find you?
At Twitter, at MetaCarolineR.
And Kaycee, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Hallmark My Words.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Cami Drama Girl. And on Facebook, the Hooked Hardy Facebook page. And my blog is hookedhardy.com. So thanks, everybody. We will see you next week with another episode.
Bye.